Yo, it's Andre. I'm back with another video. In this video, I'm going to answer one of my comments. The question they asked me about to talk about. They want me to talk about, how I used to, when I was working a job, they want me to talk about, like, when I used to work for retail, a job, being a wage slave. So, all right, I'm gonna talk about that. Now, let's see here. When I graduated high school, my first job ever was was Target. Yeah, Target. Then later Super Target. And I've worked several other jobs. Let's see. I worked as a cafeteria cleaner in elementary school. I worked in the kitchen. Yeah. And what else? I also was a truck loader at one point, and then let me see. I also held signs for a company, temporary jobs, and then yeah, I don't remember every job, but yeah. But all I can say is that when it comes to retail jobs, what do I think of it, right? Well, see, society is set up. The truth is about the world system, because you gotta remember America, or the world system in general, is set up as a pyramid scheme. They literally try to raise humans in general, like all the humans, on average in public schools, to be a wage slave. To basically like work for a corporation and be treated basically you'll be treated as a slave. You'll make money, but they'll try to pay you less. And yeah, you can't just enjoy your freedom like how life intended it. This is why they raised us to be at a disadvantage. They want us to be a slave. Mm-hmm. When a man, and this is for you guys. Even if you're in middle school, make a plan for basically, it's like this. There's always a way out of something, to make money, to do things your way. Just make a plan. Like if anyone who graduates high school, and you want to make money, yeah, get a job, but don't be in that position for a lifetime. Don't work as a wage slave for your whole life. Instead, make a plan to become independent of the system. When you get out, you could like work a retail job just to make money for a while, right? But even then, work at your own pace, so that way you're not, regardless of how they try to scare you, they just want you to do things their way. But when you go to that job, I know it's tricky and I know it's risky, but when you go to a job, use them just for money, to make money, but also work at your own pace. If they try to pressure you or push you to, don't succumb, because they want you to they want to treat you like a slave, Don't succumb to the way they want to work you. Yeah, like I said, or however you choose to do it, like be smart about it, be sneaky about it, Work at your own pace, so that way you're not a slave while you're there. But anyway, the point is, like, try not to work for these companies for a lifetime. Make a plan, learn a gift, make your own money, try to become independent of the system as much as possible. Because that's the best way to be, that's the only guaranteed way to be free from the world system. Well, my secret of why I have an easy time in society, in this world system, is because the power that created everything owns everything. Yes. And I recognize my complete self, so everything in the existence work in my favor. That's one of the forbidden things I won't really mention about myself, because there's no, like, this is the type of knowledge where I won't share with anybody, just anybody. So, like, for example, the money I have is an allowance that come from the source, and it manifests into reality. But like I said, I'm not gonna really mention that to, like, just anybody. But I'll say this. Those that the creator is with, a lot of you out there who the creator is with already knows this. Don't worry, because when you don't worry, you're saying you trust the source. You're trusting the source. Yeah, the source controls everything, and the source will keep you alive, and even give you an allowance so you can get stuff. So basically, but not everybody. The reality is not everybody has the same covering. Not everybody is That's what I'm saying. Like, most humans, anything can happen to them, because not everybody is cared or loved by the source, the creator. So that's why this information is not really for everybody, because Yeah, when it comes to most people in the world, bad things are allowed to happen to them. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. The majority of the human race, the Source don't care about many of the children, the adults, the elders, he either hates them. This is why countless things happens to many people and children and elders in this world, because they will have to be loved by the Creator to be protected in the first place. Yeah, so that's why anything's allowed to happen to anybody, you know, except for 1% of the population. Yeah, because I'm that 1%, you know, everything in existence work in my favor. That's my secret. So I never starve. I'm never at a disadvantage. My life is not dependent if I work for a company or not, because everything works in my favor to where I don't need a job. That's why I have an escape route. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. The only reason why I worked jobs in the past was just to make more money faster, but I never had to do that. And because I decided to like not do that, then what ended up happening later, my cash flow increased. The cash I get because of the power. It's the power. Yeah, the power gives me my own allowance. You know. So, but not everybody has that. Not everybody has that privilege. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. See, thanks to the power, I have the option of not having to work if I don't want to. You know, because the only way people can make money, the way it's set up, on average, is that they have to work for a company. You know, in order to build money and make money and try to find a way to keep money flowing in. But with me, I have the option of doing that or not, because everything is already given to me. One of my secrets is I'm rich, you know, but I would never show other humans that. I will keep that a secret. So anyway, but why do I have everything I have? It's because it's the dark that gives it to me, my incarnation, the power. Yes, that's why I never had to worry about a thing, you know. I always have a place to charge my stuff, you know. I will always have a place. I will always be able to eat. I will never starve. I will always have cash coming in. I always. Because why? Because the Source did that. I never even looked for any of this stuff. This was just set up from before I was born. You see that? I'm keeping it real. There are people that the Creator loves, and then there are people that He hates or doesn't care about. You know. So those He loves will just have like everything given to them, even our skills and our techniques. You know, the Source teaches my hands. My hands to war, and my fingers to fight. This is why I can beat people in battle. This is the secret to why there are humans who are unbeatable while we're strong, because our super strength comes from the Source. Yeah, and our super intelligence come from the Source. So yeah, the humans that the Source is with. That's the reason why we're unbeatable and we're smart. We're incredibly intelligent. You know. So yeah, but it's like I said, realistically, majority of the human race don't have this privilege. You know. Because the Creator either doesn't care about majority of humans or hates them, while only 1% He loves truly. So yeah, that's why my life is easy as can be, you know. Yeah, because I'm given everything, and not just that. I'm given the privilege of knowing myself completely, knowing that the Creator and the Incarnation, we're both the same person. We're one. See, this is what the complete me wanted me to realize, like, you know, and now I have that realization, so I'm unbeatable now. But yeah, so that's what I want to talk about. So yeah, anyone that graduates high school, you know, and works for a job, try not to live your life as a wage slave. Like, you deserve to be free, you know. So if that's what you want, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's why I say make a plan, you know, to become independent of the system. If you can, you know. But realistically, I know the real reason why most have bad luck, you know, or most get attacked by spirits or wild animals or bad humans, or most are, anything can happen to them. I already know the truth about that. So what I say really doesn't really matter much. I mean, end of the day, the Source have to give you people a chance in order for y'all to have a chance anyway. So anyway, yeah, so this is the truth about the job thing. When I worked a job, it was because it was just to make money faster. At the time, I only got a little allowance, you know. But now I get way more than I imagined before. Because, yeah, see, the power, you know. All it took was patience. I mean, all it took, yeah. I remember one time I decided to give up on working for, you know, and just, you know, take what I can do. But now my allowance increased, like, more than I imagined. I'm like, wow. So yeah, see, that was always gonna happen. It's just years before I just didn't think of that far ahead yet. Okay, you gotta remember, I wasn't always fully aware. I was taught things over time by the source. So yeah, remember this: the average human in this world system wants other humans to be their slave. Like, don't fall for that. Other humans who try to develop your own skill, trade, all of that. It's better to be in a place where you don't have to work for a company. So that's what this video is about. Is to tell the next generation of humans like how to put themselves in an advantage. So, all right, this is the end of this video. Peace.